Okay, Ashish Hemrajani. Welcome to what we call 100 stars, 100 hours. So essentially what we're doing is we're trying to contribute to the Prime Minister Cares Fund. And there's a QR code on this video and people can just go scan that QR code, you guys, or you can click on the link and you can go to proceed to contribute, fill in the amount you want to contribute to all our COVID warriors, our healthcare practitioners, and then just hit contribute. So good to see you, and you're no stranger to that. You guys have already contributed to the PM Cares Fund as well as to the Maharashtra Chief Minister's Fund. How are you doing, first and foremost?
So no, I'm doing okay. I mean, it's a new normal, and I guess when I say a new normal is that this has already started to seem like a normal, and which is scary in a lot of ways and great in a lot of ways, because I've realized that you can be far more efficient, and all this stuff about having offices and meeting people and, having those trappings of somebody getting you coffee and all of that just doesn't hold good anymore, because and it's scary because you don't need to be socially meeting other people, and you can still be more efficient by cutting out flab, trimming your waistline, figuratively and literally, which is within the company as well. You can do with far less people now. Also socially, I think it's getting very awkward. Within a month, just see when you're in an elevator, people don't know whether to shake your hand, greet you. Should they be in the same confined space? They shouldn't be. While memories are short, I also feel that this is going to take time for people to, get socially back to where they were. So that's what I said, that it's a new normal, and a lot of things which are very abnormal are starting to seem normal for everybody. I mean, I don't think I've enjoyed my home or been as long or even known things about my house in all these years and years and years that I have at this point. I mean, I literally know where the refill of the soap is and where the colon is and where the Lysol is and what do you do with with certain types of material and cloths. And I mean, I have literally never spent time at home ever. And for the first time, I mean, I know how the refrigerator works and how do you switch on a gas and, and the oven has never been used like it has. The oven must be sick of us by now. It's like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, give me a break.
I have this abiding, like, if they do these games saying that if you want to think of Ashish Hemrajani, what are the words you think of? Like, if you think of me, you probably think of me in front of a mic with headphones on. My visual of you is being on your boat off the gateway of India with your hair flying in the breeze, man. And that is something you're not being able to do right now. How are you coping with that?
That is frustrating. Look, I live by the sea, so every day I'm looking at the wind. I'm looking at the wind finder, the prediction of the wind, the tide. I look at fishing boats have started, so I see the fishing boats come up in and out. I can see the ripples on the water. There is this sarcasm. This is this new. It's this algae that gets produced, which is a living thing, and I'm seeing streaks of that already regenerating in the water in 30 days. I can see it out on the ocean. So that's the only dose of the ocean I'm getting. My boat's still in the water. She's going to get lifted in the next 8 days. So it's a bit frustrating not to be out in the sun and be on the water. But look, it's got to be done, and these are extraordinary times, and you've got to respect the elements. When you're a sailor, you respect the elements. You can't complain about the wind. You can't complain about the tides. All you can do is adjust the sails. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adjusting the sails at home. It's a new normal for work. It's a new normal for your life. You can't complain about the virus. You can do your bit, adjust your sails, and be in a hold position till you're required to do what you can.
Yeah, and what are you guys doing for groceries? I mean, does it come down to the building and you go down, bring it up and sanitize it? Home delivery, or you're going once a week or something? Yeah.
No, so what we've done is my driver, Ram Singh, within the first day of the lockdown was moved into a guest house out of his current staying environment. And so he is quarantined in a separate apartment. So he goes and does the runs. There are certain deliveries that come in. We have our suppliers. So when you're needed to go and pick it up, Ram Singh does that. But if it's required to come in, where we live, it was blocked. The gates were blocked a couple of weeks ago. So nobody can enter in and out. Even the security just stays in the premises. So nobody can come in. So it comes to the main delivery gate. The whole place is sanitized. Our stay area is sanitized twice a day. And then once it comes in, anything which is not perishable is kept away in the boot of the car or in a storeroom for about 2 days. And whatever is perishable is dipped into soap water or is sanitized using certain materials. I don't know what they use but at home, but I think it is potassium permanganate and a bunch of other stuff. And then it is stored.
So how good are your cooking skills? Or do you have a domestic help who cooks? Or is it you and your wife pooling in resources? Yeah.
No, so I've been baking a lot. So I have done maybe since the lockdown more than 10 loaves of sourdough bread. So I've experimented. I have my own starter, which is many, many years old. And so it's a living, breathing thing. So I have been doing a rye levain, and then I've been mixing whole wheat with all-purpose flour, and I've done various. So I've got 2 loaves right now, one with poppy seeds on it with rye and the other one which was plain. So I've been doing a lot of sourdough. I've done banana bread. I've done ciabatta. I've done focaccia. It's my son's birthday today, who's 8. And so I made a carrot cake yesterday with cream cheese frosting, which we cut at 12 o'clock. So everybody is eating that right now over coffee. So I've just been baking a lot. I haven't been doing like regular cooking, but I've become a bit of a master with the bread. So from Breaking Bad is going to be Breaking Bread, or you can say from BookMyShow is going to be Book My Bread. Like the French Revolution, if you can't eat bread, you might as well have cakes. But I don't think that's happening in my house because there's tons of bread now.
And the little master, is he getting to kick around the football in the compound? Just run around a little bit? Kids
I take him down. I take him down for soccer. And then I do my run because we're a very scarcely, residential building. And so we've got a very, very large compound, got more than 2.5 acres. We've got 2 lawns, a play area. So everybody socially, we sanitize the place twice a day and using a machine, the whole place. And so we have a bit of breathing space down in the evenings. So I take him down for soccer and we spend a couple of hours down. He cycles. So it's great. Yeah, we can get out in the evenings.
Okay, now let's come to the business. I love these virtual in-home offerings. I mean, you've really pushed the envelope. It's almost as though, and the way you've done it, you've been so quick to react. You've been so proactive. I loved Live from HQ, live in your living room, and then Theatre Live. I'm a theatre buff. We've met in Prithvi so many times, and I thought I'm going to miss my theatre. You've really pushed the envelope on that one. And the Stay Fit India Challenge, which is, broadening this to fitness as a category. So let's talk about all those virtual in-home offerings.
So Rishi, look, my view on this is that BookMyShow is probably one of the few companies in the country that has seen 2 big downturns. A lot of big organizations have seen the global financial crisis downturn. Some folks have seen the dot-com bust of 2001, 2002. But in the dot-com bust, they all went bust. More than 95, 98% of the companies. Very few survived. And then the global financial crisis was seen only by the newer age of companies and the traditional organizations. I think barring 1 or 2, nobody has seen 2 big downturns in their history of their organization or their company. And I think we have been today on the hindsight. You can only join the dots backward. And we've been fortunate. No other global university can give you the training that these 2 downturns gave us. And I think people that are in denial are like ostriches with their head in the sand. We don't know how long this is. We don't know how deep it is. We don't know how the social fabric, it may impact the social fabric or what it may do. What the revenue uptake will be once things start normalizing. There's a lot of open-ended questions, and this is something that the world has never seen. So while the medication may be out in May, June, and the vaccine trials have begun, and it could be out as early as September, maybe early next year, I think there will be a lot of new normal till the whole world gets vaccinated, and this is going to change things. So we've seen this before. And so for us, it was that memory bank that came in, whether It was to trim costs, to become super efficient, cut flab. It was literally done overnight. I mean, I remember Tuesday was the lockdown. By Wednesday night at 9:30, the Noah's Ark document was created in the company, which is what are the things that we will do. And we've cut down fixed costs more than 50%. We've done the right things. There's zero revenue, as you know. And then we moved very quickly into innovating. So we've already started a consulting gig for 5 weeks to future-proof the business from 1 year to 3 years, hence, not in the next 1 year, because this fiscal, you'd be foolhardy to believe that something's going to happen. If something happens, that's a plus plus. But it's almost for the whole world, it's written off. This period didn't exist. It's a pause, right?
Yep.
And so you have to look at how much can you catch up, 21, 22 fiscal. And what are the things that you can do today? What are the inputs that you can do? So the whole organization is working virtually from home. I'm busy. I wake up, my schedule is I wake up by about 8:39 in the morning. By 10:30, 11, Bonita's got me on Zoom calls. From 11 in the morning, I'm busy till about 5:36 in the evening. I get 20 minutes in between to stretch and fold my bread and do all the other stuff or grab a quick bite. And then in the evenings, I work out. The bar opens by 8:30. I have a drink. And then it's dinner and watching some sort of series or whatever online, or catching up with friends virtually and having a drink. And then it's just keeping your mind, keeping your body healthy, and then keeping the business on the rails. And we are fast tracking a lot of stuff which we would have probably taken far longer because your mind plays tricks on you on business as usual. Today with this, there's no trappings of that coffee, wasting time, meeting people. It's so efficient to get work done digitally and remotely that we've been able to complete our work before our scheduled dates. All the product teams, engineering teams, design teams, all the innovation that we were planning, future-proofing of the business. Where are the next lines of revenue going to come from in 2023? And as a part of that, we're running a series of experiments, trials, innovation. And you have to have a strategy to be able to be nimble, quick, and reactive. If you're not, then you're not a startup.
Yep.
Then you become a clunky old company which has the trappings of moving very slowly. So the moment this happened and we knew that this was going to run long and it's going to run deep, we ensured that we brought digital programming on the platform. Right now, we're doing stuff on Zoom. We're doing stuff on Facebook, Insta Live, Facebook Live. We built our own digital platform behind a paywall, but we're not going behind a paywall for a few reasons. I just think mentally people are not ready. It's a very negative time. People are at home. We've had consumers and customers who've stayed true to BookMyShow for more than 20 years. The business was founded in 99. I think it's just unfair that you profiteer in a time like that. When everybody is down and out and when they need you, if you're not their friend in time of the need where you can entertain and you start making money out of it, I just don't think anybody would appreciate that. That's number one. And I also feel it's our moral and it's our responsibility to ensure that we provide what we can in the best ability and the way that we can. And so we built the online platform and we did Live from HQ, which had Veer Das, we had Pratik Kuhar, we had a lot of musicians, Indian Ocean. We've got this Stay Fit Challenge. This is the second series. And so we've got folks, celebrities coming and doing fitness challenges, which I thought Stay Fit India Challenge is phenomenal. You should look at that. And then we've got a revenue opportunity, which I also thought was a good cause, is Recharge for Good with Vodafone. And we're doing a series of live performances with Ankut Tiwari and Dhwani Bhanashuli. Indian Ocean is in it, Pratik is on it. But all the proceeds which are coming from there are going for Recharge for Good. And then we've got this amazing series with Bittu, Bittu Saigal. We've got the wildlife environment conservation space, which is called Sikh Sanctuary. And we've got some amazing stuff on wildlife and nature. And there's a whole series, which I thought was interesting. We did something with Jairam, Ramesh, Steve Winter, all of that, which began on Earth Day on April 22nd. So I feel that you've got to mix it up a little bit. It's just not pure entertainment, which is short form. These are proper, deep, engaging programming, and we're not charging for it. And I just don't feel good about it, right? About making money of something which is in other people's misery. When everybody is happy, businesses are back, everybody is back to work, everybody has predictability, incomes are back, profits are back. People will want to be social, will want to step out, will want to go to a concert, will want to watch a movie at some point. And at that time, we'll make our revenues. But till then, you have to be prepared for days like these, which is how do you take care of your shareholders? How do you take care of all the stakeholders, which is the shareholders, my employees, my fans and customers, my vendors and partners, and you've got to make sure that you're right by everybody in a situation like that.
Yeah, I also like that apart from performances, getting musicians and theatre personalities and stand-up comedians to perform, and your environmental cause with Bitu Sehgal and Dia Mirza and all these people, you're doing some fun stuff. I love the fact that you're doing this. Create healthy cocktails at home. 5:00, 5 healthy cocktails and things like that. So I think there's a lot of fun to be had at home. I mean, no disrespect to people.
Well, I practice what I preach. 5 is a little too early for me, but yeah, by 8 for sure.
Let's now come to BookMyShow's commitment to frontline workers and to employees. I mean, Book a Smile has been active for a while. You've been doing some amazing stuff with the charity initiatives. But I was thrilled when Albert, who's one of your colleagues, told me about your fabulous community kitchen. I think really that's the way forward. I mean, this is like the langars that you get in the Four Bungalows Gurdwara, man.
Yeah.
It's just great stuff. So talk to me about commitment to frontline workers, employees, keeping them engaged, and the charity.
So, we, Book a Smile, where all the donations that come in as one rupee from our consumers go into a fund which usually serves underprivileged communities for music, for art, we serve them for music, for art, for anything in the creative field, for movies and theater and all of that. I just felt that given that it is so extraordinary, the situation and the time, that we've changed our focus for the time and carved out a fund. So we've created a percentage out of the fund and the corpus that we have, and we've earmarked that for COVID action. And how can we be helpful? So the first thing that we did was, let's use our current office premises to be as efficient as we can. So our security, our cooks, and our office boys are locked in. And we've got a 100,000 square foot headquarter office, and we have a big cafeteria. So we started cooking food and serving 1,000 meals a day from our office, which is lying vacant at the moment. And the reason we did that was because the frontline health workers, the BMC and the police, are the ones that nobody thinks about, because everybody thinks it's their job to do what they do. And I felt that they are overworked at this point of time and putting themselves in harm's way, not only for themselves, but their families. Imagine all of us are in hiding, but they go out there every day, do what they're not expected to, but what they want to do, and almost expected to, but also what they want to do and wish to do, and put themselves in harm's way, and then go back to their families every day. And so we just felt that keeping their immunity and nutrition at the top of our agenda was very important. So they all came back, all the chowkis in our area, the BMC chowkis and the police chowkis came back, and they said, look, we're covered for lunch and all the other meals, but because we work all night and we start very early, breakfast is something that we would appreciate. So rather than giving those 12 rupee, 14 rupee dirty meals, we are giving a wholesome meal every morning for breakfast, including a fruit. And we serve 1,000 meals a day as a part of the BookMyShow, Book a Smile action group, to be able to serve 1,000 meals. So since April 12th, we've now served 15,000 meals. So it's not about the numbers, it's about where it's going and the quality of the food. So that's one thing that we've done. The other thing that we've done with Book a Smile, the fund, is that we have contributed to now, or in the process of, with the PM Cares as well as the CM Relief Fund. And I think everybody expects the government to do everything for you, while sure, you pay taxes and the government is supposed to do what they do. But I think the government across states, across the center are trying. And I don't think that nobody is trying. It's a new normal. It's never been done before. Nobody has any answers. And so we felt that to have a well-rounded approach towards our action, we needed to even support in small way or whatever way to the government, if we can. The other thing that we've done is that we have directly been involved in NGOs which are making temporary beds, corrugated beds, which are needed to add additional capacity. We are also helping and supporting PPE material that is needed, hazmat material that is needed, and daily wage workers, and to feed food to daily wage workers. So I think these are a couple of things that we have taken an initiative to do right away. And this is not the end of it, because there's a lot more that we still think is possible, because we're just taking each week as we go along to see what else can we do. Currently, another thing that we've done is that we're working with the BMC, the municipal corporation, because they have limited capacity for their disaster management and assigning critical beds to patients. So BookMyShow used to run a very efficient customer care and call center to service our customers, and BookMyShow's NPS is one of the highest in the country. And so we pride ourselves on customer care. We have that spare capacity. So what we're looking at doing is to almost, we're working with the BMC Commissioner, Praveen Pardesi, great guy. We're working with him to make every hospital a theater. The view to BookMyShow will be a theater, and every bed a seat. And so today it takes anywhere from 3 hours to 6 hours if there's a patient, based on the level of severity as to where they end up reaching, in which hospital. So the BMC has actually already created enough capacity between private and public hospitals, containment areas. And so the severity on asymptomatic cases or symptomatic cases based on your age profile differs. So you have to be able to point the patient in the right direction. So the BMC team, along with ours, at our customer care center, which will have social distancing, will have safety measures, food, masks, gloves, alternate desks. The calls are going to get rerouted to the BookMyShow customer care center with BMC present to be able to assign beds to patients in real time. So the SLA is to get you to the hospital within 1 hour. So suppose you were to call and say, here's my conditions, here's my age, this is what I'm feeling, this is my area. We would be able to assign you a bed, and ultimately we want to give you a ticket, like a barcode, for you to be able to show it at the hospital, and that's your registration to be assigned a bed.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's the other initiative that we have with BMC, and the other is supporting some of our partners, and I think the arts will suffer as many other industries will, and there are certain industries in the arts which is a dying art form, and we've been very supportive of circuses. And I don't mean circuses with animals. We all grew up with the wonderment of circus. We did Cirque du Soleil, everybody came and watched, but that was a rich man's circus. But there is a circus for everybody, and I remember as a kid growing up and being able to go to the circus, and that was Rambo Circus. And after animals were banned, they moved to just having people, and you do phenomenal tricks, and it's the human endeavor of what the human body can do, and it still is phenomenal. You go to places where kids come up, and we've been selling Rambo Circus for a while, and they've been struggling. They've really been hurting. In fact, so much so that the members of the circus, what is a circus? Circus, if you remember the story of Ringling Circus, they used to have a train in the United States, and it had a schooling on it. Kids were born on the train, and they would go for years and years on a circus, and circus came to town. And when circus came to town, they parked their train, the circus happened, and then the circus moved to another town. Rambo Circus is very similar in that way, where they go and they put up a tent in your town, in your village, in your local area, and the performers live on the site in a tent, in tents. And right now they're stuck outside in Maharashtra, and they're not being able to get home. They've run out of money,
Wow.
and they didn't have food to feed themselves and their own families. The performers, they were living in almost like a tent, which is like a shanty. And so Book a Smile stepped up and has provided money for 2 months to Rambo Circus so that the performers can feed themselves and their families, because there's no money going back home. Otherwise, the tent and the circus and all would have collapsed. I mean, it would not exist. It would cease to exist. So we've got various stakeholders. So we're doing stuff personally. Our employees, my customer care team has all got 50,000 rupees. They all sort of got together. We've given the CM and the PM fund. We've given materials directly to NGOs. We're supporting food programs. We're supporting a partner like Rambo Circus. And so it's not one thing that we're doing. And we continue to see how we can best play our role. And then the whole partnership with DMC to do what we can to help the city of Bombay, which is our city. I mean, we grew up here, born and raised. BookMyShow prides itself of being one of the few or only internet companies at scale still in the city of Bombay while everybody has moved out. So this is the least that we can do.
What about employees? I like the fact that you have a human chain. So talk to me about employee welfare and how you're handholding a few of them. And there's a lot of community feeling with BookMyShow, for the people who are working in the company.
Look, our greatest assets asset is our people. We don't have any plant machinery. We are sure we have a few computers and we have office space, right? Everything that you see on BookMyShow is people driven. We have no other asset, right? And so with our employees, it's very family run in that sense that BookMyShow does tons of stuff in employee engagement. First of all, we had the vision to say no copay. BookMyShow covers an insurance cover for every single employee. We have 1,500 people across 7 countries and across 8 or 9 offices in India. And we cover every person for themselves, for their spouse, their children, and their parents. So themselves, sideways, down, and up. So BookMyShow pays for Mediclaim for everybody. There's no copay. There's no contribution from the employee. That's our job. And then we have a central corpus and a central pool, which is used as a spillover. The government did something which was great, which I think was adding COVID to state insurers for Mediclaim. It gets covered under that. So all our employees, number one, are covered under their current Mediclaim plan for COVID-19, for the pandemic. The second thing is that we have insurance plans as well, which we cover all employees. I think the well-being of people mentally is very important for us. So the whole company, 1,500 people, are broken up into a human chain of 115 WhatsApp groups. And what we do is every morning at 10 o'clock in the morning, at 10 o'clock in the evening, there is an administrator for each of those 115 groups. And all we do is check in on each other to say if you're okay. So if somebody is not okay, they tell you, and then we know what action to take. But all we're checking is your mental state. Because, we could be with families, you could be with your family, you're happy, you're making bread, you're exercising, you could be working. There are a lot of kids who are home alone. So we have somebody who came in from New Zealand, one of our employees who left for New Zealand, came back to India, but he was a Delhi-based person. And then he's moved to Bangalore, but he was in the middle of moving his family, as his wife and daughter. So they're stuck in Delhi, he's stuck in Bangalore. So he's alone, they're alone. And so it becomes important to know everybody's well-being. And this is an efficient way to know if everybody is okay. And if somebody is not, then it gets highlighted and then we know what needs to be done. So until then, also it's important to make sure that you keep everybody busy. You make sure that everybody is on top of things and they're mentally active. We are also doing, we did some exercise, remote, workout sessions. And I think we're continuing that twice or thrice a week, where by appointment, people can get on, and our office trainer, she gets on and then gets everybody to come together and do yoga sessions and workout sessions. So, yeah, so the human chain is one way of keeping in touch.
Yeah. What's the first thing you're going to do when the lockdown is lifted, whenever it is?
Look, I don't know, because it could be extended, and it would be a slow start in terms of opening. I think we've already put systems and processes in place on how we are going to get people back to work and in what form and function. So we just want to make sure that those are in place. I would love to go out and meet friends, have a drink. I mean, for sure, just give a hug, meet somebody and just say hello. Go to the beach. I mean, I just love going to the beach. I haven't been. I can see the beach, but I can't go to the beach. I would love to do that. And the beach is looking phenomenal. The water is recovered. The beach is recovered. I would love to just be out there. My boat, she's getting lifted in 8 days. I would have loved to go for a sail. Peace and plenty will be out of the water. So I would like to do those. But look, there'll always be another time. Yeah. Summer vacation was booked. Tickets were booked. Those are all being cancelled. A ski trip was booked. That was cancelled. So I was always on a plane, and I always complained about the fact, I'm always on a plane. I'm always traveling. When will I get time to chill? And now all you do is chill at home. And you haven't been on a plane. You can't even think about a hotel. You can't even look. We did go to Goa just before the lockdown. Just got in like a day before that. But this has been nice in a lot of ways on self-discovery and spending time with yourself, and being able to do the dishes and know what Lysol means and Colin meals and what Ajax means. And there's to cleaners, you have this sponge which has a spongy side and you have a green side, and I didn't know which side to use. And I was like, what do you do with this, man? What side do you use on what? And I had no idea. So settings on the oven are now something that I know well. So I can tell you what temperature to put what at. So, well, it's been good, but I'd like to, get back to normal. But life will change for sure, personally and for work. And I just feel that when you come out of it, companies that have been able to manage the situation better and be aggressive in the way they've managed it, raised money when they didn't need to, always been conservative in your capital and fund usage, outflow, being circumspect in getting into the areas of businesses that you did. We've been a monoline business in a lot of ways, which held us in a lot of good stead for all these years. But now you've got to diversify. And when I mean diversification, we were in live events, concerts, production, ticketing, all of that. But that was all to do with people congregating and stepping out. But that in itself is under question. So what are the other things that you can do? So we've got, a bunch of 10, 12 ideas. Some of them were baked out. Some of them we knew we needed to do, but we weren't doubling down on. Now we've distilled it on down, and now we know exactly what we want to chase till 2023. So it's been phenomenal, I guess, in a lot of ways. And just getting to know the side of human beings in times like these, who's helpful, who's not, who reaches out, who doesn't, who cracks under pressure, who doesn't, who's positive and mentally healthy and who isn't. So it's a study in human nature as well. So look, I have no complaints.
Last question. Last question. Your favorite school or college memory? What would that be? I mean, memories.
Oh gosh. Oh gosh. School or college memory? Man, school was carefree. I mean, you had no. You don't have the weight of the world on you. There's that they say like the first 25 years you live on your parents' money, the next 25 years you earn, and then the next 25 years you live for your children. And so, but that period of time where you have you had nothing, right? And there's the incremental joy of nothingness, of having nothing, of the smallest things. I mean, I remember when we used to go to Goa, we used to take the the bus, that was the only way to travel at that time. You take the bus because the flights were far and few in between. You couldn't afford them. You take a seater bus, and the joy of getting sleeper buses or air conditioned coaches, and the joy of then Konkan Kanya getting added and going to Tivim by train, taking a 11 o'clock train from Dadar, and then going to Goa and reaching in the morning and saying, "Wow, man." I remember 170 rupees or 140 bucks 90 bucks for an auto ride from Tivim to North Goa. And then it's those small joys which have got nothing to do with materialism or anything external. Yeah. So I think that was special at that time. So I think those memories come flooding through, given that there is nothingness now. And all the trappings of your car, your home, travel, and all your BS about, putting it on Instagram and how it looks and what do you do and what you post is all out, right? And it's these little joys that, did the guy get range-free eggs? Were they available today? Are there eggs? Hey, listen, it's the really small things that matter. And I think in school and college, those matter. So it's coming a full circle.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching, all of you. There's a QR code for the PM Cares Fund. Just scan that QR code and proceed to contribute. Fill in the amount you want to donate and hit contribute. Ashish Hemrajani, thank you for being on our 100 Stars, 100 Hours. And see you soon in person to give you that hug.
Thanks, Rishi, and good on you to do this. I think it's important for all of us. People are cynical and they complain and they yap, and there's a lot of just forwarded messages going around. I just think it's your obligation to do what you can, when you can, in the capacity that you can, in whatever little measure or way that you can. And this is one of the ways that you are, in your own way, doing your bit. And if each one of us does that bit, we'll make that difference. So good on you to do that. And I'm more than happy to be able to contribute.
Thank you, bro. Cheers. Take care.
Ciao.
Hi guys, welcome to 100 Hours, 100 Stars. It's an initiative, it's a non-stop tribute to COVID warriors, and मैं हूँ मानसा आपके साथ. I host Mad Mornings for Fever 94.3 FM, and with me is one of my favorite sports personalities, former world #1, Olympian, Padma Shri awardee, Arjuna awardee, badminton player, Srikanth Kidambi. Welcome. How are you doing?
Thank you, I'm doing great.
You're doing great? I'm good, locked up. I'm doing my bit, in this COVID-19 crisis. Where are you doing your quarantine time, your lockdown? Where is it happening?
So I'm in Guntur, so this is my hometown.
Right.
So I'm just having some quality time with my family. So yeah, I'm kind of enjoying it.
That's good. I live alone, so I'm not having quality time with anybody else but myself.
That is also a good way to spend some quality time with yourself, unless you are working from home.
I am. I'm working.
I can clearly see you are doing it.
Yeah. But how does it feel to be interviewed by me for, 100 times? It's been years since I've known you and I've done so many interviews with you. Does it feel different, Srikanth?
Oh, not anymore.
They're all same.
They're not same. It's more about, it's more like a chat rather than an interview now.
True.
Initially, it was probably a more formal way of answering questions, but maybe now it's more about chatting.
True. But this one is a little different because it's for a good cause, and we are doing this 100 hours, 100 stars initiative because we want to gather maximum amount of donation to, contribute it to our PM's Care Fund, which is like a national dedicated fund to deal with such emergencies like COVID-19 crisis. So I want you to be with me and tell people that there is a QR code on this video. People can use their Paytm app, to go there if they're willing to contribute, or there is a link for them to click. We'll give the details also later. I hope you also contribute, Srikanth.
Yeah, sure, I do.
Thank you. Now coming to your lockdown time, how are you killing time? You're in Guntur, that too. Finally, sports stars are always flying across the globe. How is it, just staying home and not doing much? I'm sure you're practicing, working out, training, but otherwise, so much time after so long. Or first time in life.
Yeah, So I'm basically working out for about 1.5 hour every day. That's the max I'm doing. And
Right.
then all the other time, I'm kind of spending time with my mother and father, or
Right.
probably playing some mobile games.
That's what is this? People had like a list. I'll learn a new language. I'll learn a new skill. I'll do dalgona coffee. I'll take all the challenges on Instagram. What special hatke are you doing? Nothing.
I'm not doing anything at all. I'm kind
At
of really enjoying my time.
I want to swap my position with you, and I'm like, okay, clearly not doing anything. You just want to enjoy your time.
Yeah, so this is so I don't normally get so much of free time. So basically, every time, normally it is about training and then traveling for tournaments. So we travel about 18 to 20 weeks every year.
Right.
So it is almost about 50%.
Right.
So this is the time that I'm actually getting. I'm actually feeling like I have a lot of time in a day. So I
Yeah.
actually feel like there are about 48 hours in a day. So I'm kind
Wow.
of enjoying everything that I have. So I'm kind of really relaxing and not doing anything at all.
Thank you for agreeing to do this interview then. Thank you so much, and I'm meeting into your time for that. But I saw this really cute post. I was stalking you online on Twitter. You were with a puppy or a dog, which was such a cute picture. Are you spending time with your buddies like that, four-legged buddies?
Yes, so I have 5 of them here.
Yeah.
So there's about 4 Shih Tzus and 1 Lab.
What are the names? What are the
So
names? I want to know the names.
so Lab is Max. It's a male.
Okay.
So Shih Tzus, there are male and female, Rocky and Angel. So their kids are Rhino and Dino, male.
How do you come up with these names? Just like that, randomly.
Random. So basically, Dino came out of my love towards Power Rangers. So we wanted it to be similar, so that is Rhino and Dino.
But I've always wanted to ask you this because I think I hadn't met you for a while when the world number one thing happening, and I'd interviewed you before that. And I think it was in 2018 when you won so many series and everything. And after that, I could meet you for a while and you became world number one. And I knew you wanted to keep improving, growing from there on. World number one, I'm sure, was in the plan. How was it when you got to know, okay, Srikanth Kidambi, world number one? I mean, that's like the dream. That's the biggest thing. How did you feel? I never asked you in any of the
Yeah.
interviews.
So, so I got to know about it like I think 1 week before it actually became
Yeah.
official. So there was an article about it, about the world rankings. So one
Yeah.
of my friends sent me that.
Right.
But the thing what happened was 2018 All England I lost in the pre-quarters. So I was
Right.
leading 2018 and then lost it
Right.
in the third set. If I would have won that set, I would have
Right.
become world number one then.
Right.
So I lost it with that one point, and I was really upset because I couldn't really, take it. I had the opportunity of becoming world number one, but then I missed it.
Right.
So one of my friend sent me an article probably about 2 weeks or 3 weeks later that after that All England. So in
Right.
that article they've said that I will go on to become world number one next week after the rankings get updated.
Right.
So I was really excited to see myself there, and then I started calculating everything, and then I realized yes, and then but still it's a different feeling to see it there officially on the website,
Right.
and yeah, when I saw it there, I was really excited. I was just very happy, to see that.
Did you feel like, okay, yaar, finally it happened? Because it doesn't happen to anybody that easily. There have been only few, I mean, how many people can then they say that I'm the world number one badminton player? Not many in the entire world. Did that realization happen, or you were like, okay, I to became world number one now, but I have to work harder now? Were you like that only? Because knowing you.
Yeah, so that's one of the dream for me to be world number one.
Right.
To be able to see myself there. I'm a big Roger Federer fan, and then every time you see his records saying, has been world number one for so many years, consecutively, I think that's a big achievement. So I always wanted to see myself there on top.
Right.
And then when I saw it, I was really very excited. And then after I became world number one, the immediate thought was that see, this is something I wanted to be, and I've become world number one. So I don't really care anything about rankings anymore. It's more about improving and then doing
Right.
really well. So and after I became world number one, it was never about playing to become world number one. It was always about playing to improve.
Wow. Now tell me this, when you became world number one, whose message was like a pleasant, big surprise? Who tweeted about it or messaged you about it? You were like, oh my God, this person is reaching out to me times.
Uh, so, uh, so I met Sachin sir probably about 2 years before it happened. Probably I think after the Olympics in 2016.
Right.
And when I met him, uh, Chamundi sir introduced me to him, saying Srikanth has played Olympics, is one of the best players we have currently. And then he suddenly, out of nothing, he just said, "Oh, congratulations! I'm sure you'll be the next world number one from India. I'm looking forward to see you." And then I said, "Thank you, sir. I really wish I can become." And then when I became, so he tweeted about it, saying, "I knew you can do it." He actually tweeted about it, saying, "I expected this when I last met you."
Yeah.
So all of that stuff. So I really felt very happy that he still remembers it.
Right.
So
Right.
it happened a long time back, and then he still remembers it basically. So 2 years
Oh,
later, he can still remember it. So
that is
that's
so
that's
sweet.
one big memory for me of being well number one.
But tell me this, you all badminton boys from Gopi Sir's Academy, you all look like good boys, but I have my doubts that it's just deceptive. You're all not that good because you all have an image built just for Gopi Sir. He should not have any doubts what you guys do in your own time, Bolke. Do you guys do anything for Masti or anything in the academy? Because every time I've interviewed a badminton player, I've asked who's the most disciplined, they say Kidambi. Srikanth Kidambi is the most disciplined, Srikanth is the most disciplined. What is this? Yeah, do you do some Masti? Huh?
Well, nobody told me that directly before.
I'm telling you. Who's the naughtiest? It's always Sai. Who's the most disciplined? It's always Srikanth.
So I always felt the most disciplined as Kashyap,
Right.
because so he was kind of 6-7 years senior to me, and then me when I was just finishing my juniors and then starting to play seniors, he was already there in top 20s, and then he was actually doing really well.
Right.
So he was that one player that I always used to look up to, and then I used to always uh, compare myself with him, and then that really helped me do well. So I always feel he is one of the most disciplined.
Kashyap.
Kashyap.
I always thought he's the most fun.
So he's kind of the most funniest for sure. Off the court is kind of very funny, but
On
every
court.
time he's there on court, I think is one of the most disciplined. He comes on time. He actually, doesn't really waste too much of time when he's there. He kind of know exactly what to do. How to warm up, and then how to stretch after sessions, what to do in between sessions. So that way is kind of very disciplined. So, but off the court, I think is really one of the funniest people that we have.
Wow, fantastic. But tell me this, how is Gopi sir? You all are still scared of him after becoming world number one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm still scared of him. After everything, I think I've joined academy in 2009, so it's been more than 10 years, and then I'm still scared of him. He's like that principal of a school where even if you go now to your school and then you're still scared of him. So it's like that person to me. So even if every time I go to him, I'm still scared.
But do you think now, after all these years, especially after the last 3 years, because badminton has grown so much, Indians, have grown so much in badminton, it's completely like almost 80-90% mainstream that people know the players, the sport more than before?
Yeah, I think everyone really started to do well. For the last 4 years, and then I think someone or the other is continuously performing. So I
Right.
think that way, I think people started following badminton as a sport more than they used to do before 2016. So I think now people are following badminton and they kind of know almost all the top players. So I think it's actually in a way it is really good that to see so many people following the sport, and then every time I go to some of the uh, shops or any of those openings, I think I see a lot of parents,
Right.
coming in, and then they always wanted to know about the daily routine of a player. So I think the parents are showing that kind of an interest now. So I think it's a good sign for the sport.
Now, quickly tell me, you train with the best players in the world. The academy has almost all the best players in the country, So if you had been given a choice, कि यार इसके साथ आप हमेशा train कर सकते हो, who would you train with?
Kashyap.
Kashyap, wow. Who would you want to prefer to go out with?
Go out in the sense, in what sense?
To hang out.
So I don't normally go out and do stuff. I'm
Given it, if you had to see a movie with, you go to a restaurant with, come on, you always say this.
So yeah, so basically whenever we are traveling, I think in our tournament, I think we all go together. So we kind of try and go together. So
One name. Give me one name.
so it's not that one name, it's like we kind of go out whenever we are in tournaments. So we might have different match timings, but we try and go with whoever is there. Probably we share room with different people in every tournament. So we try and go out with our roommates.
So diplomatic you're being, but I have a very not so diplomatic game plan for you. But before that, I want to remind everybody this initiative is to collect donation for our PM Care Fund to help all the COVID, warriors and the COVID-19 crisis. If you all wish to donate, there is a QR code flashing on the video. Please take your Paytm app and scan it, or you can just click on the link and please donate. Please, please, please do donate. And now getting back to torturing, Srikanth, are you ready for your not so diplomatic game? It's called Never Ever Have I.
Oh yeah, I am. But
you better be scared because this is the naughtiest thing I've ever played with you. It was always Sida Sada rapid fire rounds, or Satya Jhoot or something like that. But this is like a next level thing,
Okay.
Okay. I've also written it down. Okay, let me read the questions out so that I don't miss out any of the good question. Never have I ever bunked a session.
I did.
I wish you had a glass of water or something to drink. Every time you said I did.
No, I did.
Okay. Never have I ever lied to Gopi sir.
I did.
What was it about? I want to know.
About many things, he doesn't like me eating biryani, and then I end up eating a lot of biryani.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen,
the next morning I go to him and say, no, I didn't eat biryani.
Only salads and badams.
It's like a rice, dal and stuff. No biryani, no, not at all. No masala at all.
Never have I ever cursed on the courts.
Cursed on the court.
Yeah. Out of frustration, anger, while playing.
No.
You never cursed. You don't get angry on the courts.
I do, but why would I curse anyone?
Not at anyone, like maybe generally, in Telugu, nobody will understand. Never have I ever broken a racket. Like in anger.
I did, but never in anger. But I did broke a lot of rackets while playing. Probably during my juniors, when I was playing doubles, so I really broke a lot of rackets, but never out of anger.
Never out of anger. What is this? You've been such a good boy. Never have I asked.
I have a way of hitting or throwing rackets, so I know how to throw exactly, how not to break them.
Skill it is talent.
Just talent, I know.
Never have I ever asked a stranger out on a date.
No.
You need a wingman. I should become your friend and tell you how.
No.
Never ever have I had a crush on a badminton player. It doesn't have to be Indian, anybody.
Crush on a badminton player, but I kind of like few badminton players, but it wasn't like a crush. So when I was in junior, there used to be a Chinese women doubles player. So she used to play really well, Every time, so when I was in junior, it was like only the finals of a tournament used to be telecasted. So
Right.
every week on Sunday, I used to only see that girl playing the finals. So only she used to be there in all the finals. So I kind
Okay.
of liked her, the way she used to play basically.
I remember in one of the interviews, I don't remember, was it Malaysia or Indonesia? You were going to play the Masters there, and I'd asked, who is that one player from that place you want to beat? You said, I've beaten everybody from that place. It's okay, I don't care. I want to beat Chinese players now. Is it still the focus like that? Is there any player you want to beat very badly?
So no, so there is. It is not about a specific player. It is about winning matches.
True.
So that is what I actually think about. It's not about the specific player or the kind of record that I have against him. But it is more about doing well that given day. That's all.
Ah. But it's always fun talking to you. I always ask you super serious questions about, how will you cope with
Is
the
that it?
challenges. Come on, don't be
Is
so
that it?
happy. No, it's not. We also have to give a message. See, the naughty Kidambi is coming out now. No, but this was a very light chat we had for a very serious and a very important cause. But thank you so much, because I know you're not very fond of interviews and media and all that. But you came out for the cause and you spoke to me for so long. Thank you so much. But let's give out a message to people. If you had to tell anything to all the people out there about the whole crisis, the lockdown, the coronavirus scene, what do you have to say?
So again, I think it is about people staying home. So I think the government is doing a lot for the for people. So I think it is up to us to take the responsibility on our shoulders and stay home, and then help this help kill virus basically. So and I think I would also like to really thank all the doctors, all the police, all the social workers who've been, really doing a lot of hard work for last about 30, 45 days or something. I think they've been really working hard. I think, I can still sit at home and say I'm actually having my free time and I'm enjoying it. But I think the people out there, I think the police, doctors, and all the social workers, I think, I think they are working about 20 hours every day. I think they are doing the toughest jobs. So I think a big thanks to them for keeping us all safe. And again, I think I really want to tell everyone to stay home and stay healthy. I think it is really important that we stay home and then not go out for a random cause. I think it is really important that we go out only if it's really emergency. Uh, and yeah, I think the government is doing extremely well, and I think it's us who should really follow it. I think they've put the rules, but it's us who should follow it.
But thank you so much for the message. And I also want to tell everybody, this is for a good cause. We are collecting donation for our PM Care Fund. All you have to do is to donate. Please, there is a QR code flashing on this video. You can use your Paytm app and scan it. Or there is a link. Just click on it. Then you can proceed to contribute, and Mahapar just fill in all the details, how much money you want to contribute and all that. Click on proceed, and voila, that's it. You want to tell them, please donate.
Yeah, so everyone, please donate. I think it's definitely for a great cause, and I think every rupee counts for sure. So I think
Yeah.
you don't really have to really worry about how much you're paying, but be it even a single rupee or any amount in that cause, I think every rupee really counts, and I think we are donating for ourselves. You're not really donating for anybody else. So I think everyone, please come forward and donate.
Right, and thank you so much for being a part of 100 hours, 100 stars, a non-stop contributor to COVID warriors. Srikanth, stay home, stay strong.
I'm staying home. I'm not getting anywhere.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.